Activity Commission data reveals a third of those children are missing out. Last year, around 5,000 Indigenous children were placed in non-Indigenous care across the country. Ravin Hunjan reports.
Melinda Mumbler is a 23-year-old Gomeroi woman who was placed in the care of her aunt when she was just 5. At first, she struggled.
Being removed from my siblings was very hard for me because I was placed by myself and I was living with strangers almost because I didn't really know my auntie.
But looking back, she says ties to her home stayed strong.
Growing up in kinship care, I was able to connect my connection to my family, my extended family, and my parents.
But for many children, that's not the case. A third of Indigenous children in care are placed with non-Indigenous carers. There's been a steady increase across the country over the last 10 years. Some say a way to address the problem is to recruit more Indigenous carers, while others believe that solution is too simplistic.
If we're going to get more Aboriginal carers, it is only going to happen in a context where there is actually more Aboriginal control over the decision-making about what happens in child welfare.
We also need to address transgenerational trauma. We need to look at a community healing, but I think the system needs to look at how we change to better suit Aboriginal people.
Melinda Mumbler says more Aboriginal carers would come forward if the system was open to cultural differences.
You know, we raise our kids to be strong and independent and the same as Western culture, but it's just some of the things that we do. Like, we think that if we're doing something like having our kids with no shoes on, that we're going to get judged.
It's this judgment that Melinda Mumbler hopes to change before she becomes a carer. Ravin Hunjan, ABC News.